Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks. And a couple of weeks ago or so, I made this pattern. Somebody just asked for it, and I thankfully still had it. It's not perfect, so I didn't even share it on Facebook. But I started playing around, and I'm just thinking you could make this pattern completely different. Here I've got two lines. Here it's a lot thicker. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go from the center. And I always like working in the center. I'm going to set my nudge factor just barely bigger. This is 8. I'm going to set it for 10. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. There's 4 essential parts to this pattern. Well, I guess there's 5. You got to have all 5. I'm going to left click, right click. I'm going to go to group and group them. You have to have them grouped if you're going to contour them all at the same time. We're going to contour this thing like 0.03. I'm going to go to Object and break Contour apart. And because they're grouped, I can grab the outside and move it away. Now for just a second, let's just take our pattern and move it out of the way. Now I've already done I'm nudging it back. I've already done my homework on how many there are. I'm going to double click on it, move my rotation to the center. Didn't look like it got there, but it is. I'm going to open up the window Docker transform or transformation, depending on what yours is called. I'm going to rotate it 22.5 degrees. I need 16 of them, so I'm only going to do 15. And there you go. There's the new part. Now we can color in the inside, but I haven't, we didn't do all of it, so you can't really just fill it in. But that's a new cut pattern. And there's a way around that. I could have duplicated these other parts also, but I just thought I'd show you how you can actually do it and make a completely different pattern. Now, because we're working in the center of the page, we're going to take an ellipse and then hit P, and we're going to zoom in here a little bit, and we're actually going to change this line to a thicker line. Go to 3 points, maybe 4 points. Go ahead and make it black. And because it's a little bit smaller, we're going to grab it and then hold down the shift key, and we're going to have it go right to that line. So it's almost going to stop that fill. So now we can make that pattern. That's pretty cool. Now to make this other pattern, let's just nudge this out of the way and over. Put this back. And let's do the top pattern. Fill in, there's 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts to this pattern. We're going to left click, right click. We're going to group them so we can contour them. I should have just left the contour Docker open, because you can always just close them down. I get so used to just closing them up. And then this time we're going to rotate 7.5, and we need 48, so we need 47. Whoop. You see I didn't go to the center. I didn't change them to the center. So I'm going to nudge that over, change the rotation of the center, and then do our apply. Now we can take this one, move it back. That's what's so nice about the nudge tool. And you can make this, lines, or you can make it fill. If we fill it in, we're going to have another line. So let's take this line, this thick line, Control D and make a duplicate, then hold down the shift key and I grabbed the wrong thing. Control D and make a duplicate, and then grow from the outside. I must have grouped those together. So let's take here, go to Object, you know what, there's the duplicate. Okay, we'll just take a new line. Control D and make a duplicate. hold down the shift key and have that line grow. And you could have it go to the bottom and then Control D and make it duplicate. And this time we could go, I'm holding down the shift key, we could go right there or we could go there. It's all depends on how you want it to look. Because then you get the Smart Fill tool, you fill that in, you fill that in, and of course you made your line thicker. You know what, I didn't make a duplicate of that line. So let's duplicate this line, Control D, and then hold down the shift key and put it right there on that line. Now that's not going to fill in. You'd have to fill in each individual part. So we're going to bring that in just a little bit by holding down the shift key and letting some fill get by. And then we're going to fill that in right there. And in that short a time, you completed a whole new pattern. And you could change it up and have no lines. Now that you've got your fill, you know, you could take these other lines away and do anything you want to with it. But we could, the possibilities are endless, what you could change. Anyway, just kind of play around with that. I hope that helped a little bit. I'm going to make those lines a little bit thicker because I have no lines now. And, I mean, you could just keep going and see there's two different patterns. And pretty cool design. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.